Hello and welcome to this edition of Minstrels on the Block, where we bring you the finest singer-songwriters in the Valley area. This week's special guest is none other than Mr. Bryce Weatherwax. Bryce?
Hi.
Great
you,
to
Brian.
have you on the show, man. How you doing?
I'm great. I just woke up about 2 hours ago, did some stretches.
Nice.
And super excited.
I woke up about 20 minutes ago. So Bryce, tell me about yourself. Where were you born?
I was born in Beaufort, North Carolina, and I moved to Columbus, which is a neighboring city of Phenix City, about 4.5 years ago because my dad moved his jewelry store down here. So we had the store in North Carolina, but it burned down. And then we did like a bunch of skipping around trying to find like a place to settle, and ended up here. So now I'm here and I'm attending Columbus State University.
Very cool.
I'm a sophomore now. I just got out of school. Just had my first year.
Nice.
And yeah, that was really fun. And I'm just super interested in music and I want to pursue it as a career. And other than that, I'm just glad to be alive.
Well, let's plug a little bit. No, the pimping section doesn't really come till the end of the show, but just for the sake of somebody might want some jewelry, where's your dad's jewelry shop now?
It's at 1044 Broadway. It's
Cool.
at the corner of 11th and Broad, and it's all vintage stuff mostly, and we have a few really nice pieces, and it's worth a stop if you like jewelry.
Check it out, folks. Everybody likes jewelry. Now, the second question is already half been answered, which is awesome. I like that. What did your parents do? Obviously, your dad runs a jewelry store.
My dad runs a jewelry store, and my mom has been a secretary for most of her life. She has the ability to type really quickly.
Nice.
She's like 131 words per minute or something like that.
Wow.
Like insane. So she did that for a while, and now she's working at an assisted living facility in North Carolina. She's still back in North Carolina. And yeah, she's doing that now, and she really loves it. She's the activities director, so she has a budget that she gets to like spend on all these people that are in the facility, and she just makes people's lives better.
Great and noble work. Now, were your parents musical at all?
My mom played piano for a long time, and she's way better about memorizing lyrics than I am. She has an innate talent to memorize words very well, but my dad really wasn't that much. He's always been around music though, and he really introduced me to music, and he gave me like a very rigorous musical education when I was younger. So I got into like Grateful Dead and Fish and Led Zeppelin all because of him and stuff like that. So.
Very rigorous and widespread. I mean, very nice mix.
Widespread Panic as well. Good point. Yeah.
Now, what sparked your interest initially in playing music or in music in general?
I think women, probably.
Chicks!
But, yeah, chicks.
We've heard this before.
But after I started playing, initially it was that, but then after I started playing, I just got like a true appreciation for music, and I just love it so much. Like, there's really nothing else that feels quite like it, listening and playing.
Now, you got started in it for chicks, and then you gained the appreciation for it. So now you write.
Yes, sir.
Because like we've said before, we have musicians that only play, and we have musicians that sing, and we have musicians that have written and decided that they just wanted to play. What made you decide that you wanted to write?
I've always been into expression of self in any form, and I think writing is really good because I get to I get to use like big words and things like that, and I really enjoy syntax and diction and wordplay. Oh gosh, like double entendres to the max. I just and I've always loved reading poetry and stuff. So yeah, I guess just it's kind of self-serving. It's a little bit like, you know, displaying how intelligent I think I am, but
Awesome.
but also I just really enjoy it. Yeah, I mean, that's all I can say is like I just love being able to express myself.
Well, it's like Billy Joel said, and you're talking about the use of words. Billy Joel has a song called Street Life Serenade. And I don't know how many of you youngsters out there know that song, but it's got a line in there, street life serenaders have such understanding of how the words are spoken. And it has a lot, you know, that just the use of words is a beautiful thing. I know exactly what you're talking about. What? Tell me a little bit about your education on guitar.
Okay, I started playing about 4.5 years ago, like, you know, just as we were leaving North Carolina through that transition and into Columbus. And there was a man named John Nelson that got me first interested in it, and he lives in North Carolina. I think he sells yachts or something, but something crazy like that.
Awesome.
And he writes jingles, so that's his claim to fame. But I started talking to him, and he showed me a few chords, and from there on, when I moved here, I had no one really to learn from.
Right.
But I just like kept at it, and I kept watching people. I would go to open mics that I may have even learned a lot of it from you and had not known it. But so yeah, just watching people at open mics and learning different techniques that way, and also playing with my friends Evan Phillips and Benjamin Weinbaum. They were like sort of like the downtown loft crew, like the younger kids at the loft. So I hooked up with them, and we all sort of learned together, I guess.
That's cool. And you know, it's like we said before, you know, the tremendous value of playing with other people and open mics, you know, meeting other people, that you do learn from one another. Even, you know, more advanced people can learn from less advanced people, you know. I didn't even think of that, you know. But yeah, it's great, you know, meeting other musicians, and you do learn from one another.
Yeah.
Now, you got into music, and this may seem like a silly question, but what kept you attached? What kept you interested?
I might want to go back to women on this one.
There's no wrong answer.
It was, I mean, that's a joke, of course. Like, I'm not saying it didn't get me a lot of attention, but I liked the way it felt to play, and I've always been, I don't know, flamboyant and show-offy and flashy and stuff. So it plays to that sentiment of mine, and it was more personal than being in a play or something like that to me, because in a play I'm telling someone else's story that someone else wrote, and to someone else's music, and I'm just the instrument, but I wanted to be the agent, and play my own stuff, and I guess that's why I like writing so much as well. I just wanted to be the one expressing and have the expressions be my own, you know, as much as possible.
Oh yeah.
I don't think anything's really original, but you know.
Well, you know, you have people that do cover songs. You have people that write. You know, there are people that are perfectly fine playing other people's art, but there are people that need to put their own stuff out.
Yeah, and I'm not downing anyone who doesn't write. It's just my preference.
Yeah, I mean, because if we had people that didn't write, if we did not have people that didn't write, then none of us front guys would have a band behind us.
Yeah.
Everybody would be writers and singers. So now, Before we go to one of Bryce's songs, we have the question that causes earthquakes and starts wars, and I'm sure chicks are involved in there somewhere. And this would be a great person to ask too, because Bryce is well versed. Elvis or the Beatles?
The Beatles.
The Beatles.
I'm sorry.
Ooh, came around again, folks. Why particularly?
Well, I'm not denying that Elvis was the king, but I think the Beatles have had a much longer reign, and I just love the Beatles, and I've been really influenced by them. And Elvis started the ball rolling, but I think the Beatles really hit the ball out of the park.
Oh yeah, totally.
So I have to say Beatles. Yeah.
And we're talking decades after they broke up, and half of them have died, and they're still are making waves.
I mean, Paul McCartney just released an album like a few years ago.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Let's check out some of Bryce's music, and we'll be right back after this.
This is a cover of Where's My Mind and Yesterday by the Beatles. Where's My Mind is by the Pixies. And I sort of smushed them together. Yesterday, love was such an easy game to play. Now I need a place to hide away. Oh, I believe in yesterday. Where is my mind? I believe in yesterday. Suddenly, I'm not half the man I used to be. There's a shadow hanging over me. Oh, yesterday came suddenly. Why she had to go, I don't know. She wouldn't say. I said something wrong. Now I long for yesterday. Try this trick and spin it. Yeah, your head will collapse, but there's nothing in it. And you'll ask yourself then, where is my mind? Where is my mind? I believe in yesterday. Oh, I believe in yesterday. Yesterday.
Hello and welcome back to this edition of Minstrels on the Block with special guest Bryce Weatherwax. So Bryce, tell me a little bit about maybe leading up to and what you have going on now.
Well, as I said, I'm in Columbus State University. I'm an environmental science major with a writing minor. But after I get my bachelor's in environmental science, I plan to shift all my attention to music and just have that as a backup plan.
Gotcha.
So right now I'm just working on writing more material and playing at different open mics, and sometimes I play at Iron Bank Coffee Company.
Yeah.
And I do the Thursday night open mic at Fountain City Coffee.
Right.
And that's really it so far, but I hope to do more.
Well, and I know that you will. Now, what got you interested in environmental science, just out of curiosity?
I've always loved the sciences, even the social sciences, but I really like the hard sciences like biology and environmental and physics and stuff like that. I guess my grandmother, in a weird way, influenced me. She was always reading me National Geographic, and
very cool.
we would always like watch the Discovery specials together,
nice.
like the Blue Planet and Planet Earth things. So I guess that in large part.
That's cool. Yeah, what you see is he strongly influences your interest in when you're growing up. Now, when you're writing music, what do you feel is your strongest muse? What do you write from mostly?
I would say a lot of songs I try to make philosophical points in, and then some political, but I mean not very seriously. I sort of just satirically play at those kind of things because I'm not very well informed politically, so I just, but I mean, you don't have to be well informed to write a joke.
No,
so,
you don't.
But then, again, we're coming back to women, as I'm sure you'll see. Yeah, a lot of my songs are just, you know.
Now, has there
Pick
been...
me.
Like some of us have what I refer to as a luminous woman. Do you have, like, did you at some point, or do you now have a specific woman that has influenced you, or just women in general?
I have had, but not very strongly musically influenced by them. So I would say not yet. Mm-hmm. There you go.
When you were writing, do you... Like, everybody has a method of writing, and some people it wavers back and forth, but do you usually come up with music riffs first and then write words, or do you sit down and write words and then put music to it? How does that work?
Okay. I wake up at 2:30 a.m. and I feel like I need to eat something, and then I go eat, say, a Pop-Tart or a bowl of cereal, and then I take a shower, because I feel like taking a shower.
Right.
And then in the middle of the shower, I run out of the shower and go get a piece of paper and go get a guitar, and I write songs. Just literally, I've been woken up by, like, I guess inspiration to write like 6 songs so far. I just cannot sleep, and then not sleeping turns into I get really, really motivated to write for some reason.
Wow. A truly, truly inspired songwriter.
Well, sometimes when I'm writing collaboratively, I let the other person, like, I feed off of the other person, sort of like, I want them to initiate, like they will start a riff or start a chord progression, and then I'll like alter something or ask them to alter something, and then like I'll ask them what they want it to be about or what they think it's about and what they want to say, and then I'll find the words to say it. So that's how I write collaboratively, and then I guess alone, I don't know. It's very spontaneous.
Yeah. What do you feel you do more? Do you collaborate more or do you write solo more?
I write solo more. It's really hard to find time with my friends locally to write together. So.
Now, when you're in school, your teacher always says, "Where are you going to be in 5 years?" So, where are you going to be? What's your hopes for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years?
5 years, I hope to have my degree, and I hope to be an up-and-coming artist, be that like musician or singer-songwriter or even sound engineering or something like that. I just want to be in the music industry.
Right.
I'm very interested in production and things like that too. And then in 10 years, I mean, I have several hopes, but I guess one of them would be to be established, and have a very comfortable living as a musician and a writer.
And reasonable goals, and there's no reason you shouldn't reach them. Now, I think, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the list. We have incorporated this list recently just because we think it's funny. Now, let's just say you're walking around the house on a Saturday afternoon, Sunday afternoon. You know, you're not at school, you're sipping on a cold one or a hot one, depending on the weather or whatever. What are you most likely to be listening to on your wax cylinder, your 78, your 33, your 45, 8-track, cassette, CD, iPod, or otherwise music delivering device?
Okay. I'm most liable to be listening on my computer, and I have these speakers I put in my computer, and then I just, sit in my room and listen to it through the speakers. And I'd say Saturday feels like a Radiohead day.
Nice.
I listen to a lot of Radiohead, and I guess I could have some Coldplay then, and a little Bob Marley maybe.
Cool.
That's it.
Very cool. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's check out some of Bryce's music again, and we'll be right back after this.
This is a song that I wrote called I Know You Would. Your friend says don't go, but you won't say no to a private show, 'cause baby you know that I can do more when I get you on the floor and sing so dope. La-di-dum-di-dum, la-di-dum-dum-dum. I see you on a beach, a shore beside the sea, and you can see it reach just as sure as we can breathe. And sure you can agree, the beaches line up to see me and hear me sing. La-di-dum, 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 da-dum, dum. My eyes are swimming, I'm so tired. I'm swimming in your eyes, you look so fine. The twinkles in my eyes seek to swim between your thighs. And I'm so bad if I got you alone. Well, you know just what I do. I'm so stupid, I know I would. You're so restless, you know you would. You're so good, I know I would. I know
Hello and welcome back to this edition of Minstrels on the Block. Special guest, Bryce Weatherwax. This is the pimping section. This is the section of the show where we pimp stuff. So, shameless self-promotion, Bryce. What do you have that you want everybody out there to know about?
Well, my father has the jewelry store we already talked about. And
give the location one more time, just to get everything in the box.
Okay, 1044 Broadway. It's the corner of 11th and Broad. And I guess that's really it. I don't have enough going on yet.
But you do have contact information like Facebook.
Yes.
Like if people want to know when you do have something coming up,
okay,
then they'll want to know where to find you.
Right, good idea. I am Bryce Dealey Weatherwax on Facebook. I'm not sure the exact URL, but you can find me through there. And I'm not very private on any of my settings, so.
Cool. And he's in my friends list, just look it up.
Yeah, just look up his friends list.
Now, a couple of questions I like to ask. One is, from your standpoint, in whatever capacity you approach it or experience it, what do you think of the local music scene in the Valley area?
I think, like a lot of things in Columbus right now, and Phenix City too, it's growing, and I think it's sort of a fresh start. I came about 4 years back, as we said, and I didn't see much. There was Gallery 13, which was a hotspot for kids, and it still is. It's really active, and there were a few other things going on, and I think Fountain City was doing its open mic at that point, and I don't know, that was about it, other than like Daly's play, right. Features bands, and The Loft, of course, features bands, but now, like, even month to month, I see like a big growth in like the people who are interested in music, and then the amount of kids my age playing, and then the amount of people I see playing like the street corner thing.
Right.
That is great. There's so many artists out there now, just introducing people to local music, and I think it's really cool. And I like the scene now.
Yeah.
It's grown, and it's grown on me.
A good little shout out on the street corner gig thing. Uptown Columbus has a thing where they hire musicians to sit out on the street corners and play, and I think that's really good. If you're out and about in Columbus on a Saturday, Friday night, check out the street corners. There are musicians playing. It's great. They're not in a bar. They're out on the street corner where everybody can see them. Very friendly for everyone. How do you think the music scene could be improved?
I don't know. This is just a personal preference thing, like a preferential. I think if there were more people writing instead of just playing covers, because I'll hear from week to week, like the street corner people, like they'll have the same set, and they'll play the same things and stuff like that. And I'm not down on any of them. Like I don't have a lot of material,
Right.
Like it's really hard to build up a repertoire, but that's what I would like to see. Is I would like to see more people like learning more and doing new things, and I think that would keep it fresh for the people experiencing it too, like from the audience's point of view. So yeah, I guess just more and different stuff would be good.
As you watch Bryce play, you've got a really neat sound. Like I've seen you play songs that are like songs I know, but you definitely have made them your own. And what Bryce is just saying, I think that's a great idea that musicians watching the show put a twist on the stuff that you're playing that somebody else wrote, and write your own stuff and make it different. That's cool stuff. Now, what advice would you give to aspiring singers, songwriters, artists of any kind watching the show?
Well, I don't think myself very informed, as I said, or qualified, I guess, to give that kind of advice. But if I were put on the spot by someone like Brian Mallard or something to say it out in front of the world, I'd probably say just keep working. There was a time when I didn't want to play anymore because I just sucked. I mean, I was awful. So it was about a year and a half, and maybe probably a little bit longer than that I was just like every single day I was clinking away at it, and I was trying to sing. And people usually don't think of me like this. They usually think, oh, Bryce is talented or something. And I mean, I'm not saying that, but people usually think that of me, and it's completely the opposite. Like, I've just worked so freaking hard trying to get everything together and to get where I am. I'll go back to the story. Like, a year and a half of just absolute sucking. Like, every chord would buzz, and every note I sang was off, and everything was horrible. And I just kept on listening to people I wanted to emulate, and I kept on practicing over and over and over again. And like, finally, suddenly, like, I played one song. I think it was Hallelujah. I covered it, like, and I had been working on that song for like years, you know, like I think it was on my second year of trying to play that song and trying to play I'm Yours by Jason Mraz. Just like, I just picked some really popular songs that, you know, would just be good, like, starting points. And finally, after that long period of time, I just like didn't suck as much. And then it was a really big confidence boost, and just having something under my belt really got me motivated to do more. And I think that's the biggest piece of advice I could give. Just, you know, if you think something's not going right or whatever, just, it can be fixed. And you can do anything if you just spend enough time working on it.
Very good advice. A lot of hard work goes into a lot of what you hear. Bryce here and other people that you see, you know, it's not effortless. There is a lot of work that goes into playing music. And great advice, Bryce.
Thank you.
Bryce, I appreciate you coming on the show.
No problem.
I'd like to thank Bryce Weatherwax for joining us on Minstrels on the Block today. Very interesting interview. Hope you've enjoyed it. And I'll see you next time. I'm Brian Mallard for Minstrels on the Block on CTV EA.
This is a song I wrote, and it's called Much to Live For. Same old town, you stick around another year, you lay in wait. Another brighter future graduates. You're feeling down, can't find your sound. We all know the same old ways to keep ourselves entertained. And she can't remember a time she wasn't afraid of her own mind. She's afraid of her own mind. Who hasn't been afraid of their own mind? Pretty girl, get through it. There's so much to live for. Pretty girl, get to it. So much to live for. Lucky girl, go do it. There's so much to live for. Girl, use it. So much to live for. You realize, you wipe your eyes, brother, you're a lesson for any man who's ever wanted more. Look to the skies and you start the climb, but everything's been done before. And life's great circle leaves you on the floor. He doesn't know anyone who gives a damn about what he's ever done. What has he really done? What have any of us done? Oh, pretty boy, go use it. There's so much to live for. Lucky boy, get to it. So much to live for. Pretty boy, you got it. So much to live for. So much to live for. It's the story of the ages. Love is lost and misery rages. Know that sorrow's not forgiving, and heaven's only for the living. Little darlings, get through it. There's so much to live for. Lucky world, get to it. So much to live for. Little world, go do it. So much to live for. Pretty world, just use it. There's so much to live for. So much to live for. So much to live for.